known as the Indian Express Newspaper Private Limited versus Union of India. And first of all, if you will see, always the name of the parties in a case as it is before you. It means a case which is before the competent court, either maybe the Supreme Court or other courts. The party who is in the petition or in appeal is a aggrieved party. Here the aggrieved party is the Indian Express Private Limited Company, who is publishing one newspaper. And the branches of this newspaper are in various places within the territory of India. Thus, the point is that what was the grievances of this company and against whom the grievances was there. As I have expressed that if one will see the name of the party, it means the grievances was against the Union of India. And the second question related that then what was the grievances against whom you have searched? That is the Union of India. And what was the grievances? It means that any action taken by the Union of India, either in the form of making any rules, amendment in the act, or according to the mandate of legislature, the action has taken by the Union of India. That shows that always what will be there, because from very beginning it is the duty of we people who have the obligation to search the relevant points related to the law. Then next, as the analysis of the case, because in some universities like the Delhi University, before the new Vista arose as a national law university in the year 1987, or perhaps from the session of the 86, there was a system of the Delhi University always to case study. And case study is the spirit of law. At the same time, another approach of law is to interpret the legislative system in a way so that understanding capacity may be developed of the law student, including the teachers. Then the point is, because the time is very short, and if we will not complete this case, then I will give you the link on Zoom also after the end of this first meeting. The second point is that who were the judges in this case? Always please, at the time of critical analysis of the case, it is a duty of everyone to read and to study with the full consent. Consent means the concentration and with the full attention. Then from very beginning, the point is who were the judges. As I have used the full bench. What is the meaning of the full bench? As a student of jurisprudence, as a student of constitutional law, as a student of the postgraduate, it is your duty to know each and every part of the judgment and to keep it in your mind. And that is called the judges full bench. It means there were 3 judges. And then another point here, which requires to be kept in mind and to be studied, that in the 3 judges bench, who is called the full bench, who has delivered the judgment, who is the author of the judgment. In some places, normally it has asked after the completion of this PG, qualifying the NET, or pursuing the PhD. If a case relating to the judgment of that particular case will be asked by the persons who are taking the interview, they may ask the who was the author of this judgment. It means author means who has delivered this judgment. In three judge bench who have delivered this judgment, and this judgment, Indian Express case judgment of 1994, delivered by the Justice P.B. Samant. And Justice P.B. Samant became later on the chairman of the Press Council, as the provision prescribed under the 1978 Act made by the competent legislature, that is the parliament. Therefore, the unique judgment has been delivered by the honorable judges of the Supreme Court. There are also deemed to be their specialization in that special kind of field. Thus, the author of this judgment was the Justice P.B. Samant. Then another point which requires to be always kept in the consideration, or which requires to be taken into account, that is, what were the facts, and among these facts, what were the relevant fact about it, what were the relevant fact of the case before entering into the issues of the case, argument in the case in favor and in against. The relevant fact were there in the act which we are discussing, 1955 Act, related to the service condition of working journalists and other employees of the newspaper sector, 1955. Some amendment has made by the recommendation of the board for the wages as constituted under section 9, and you have already seen the another board, there is the provision under this section 13 also. For non-journalist employees of the university, it requires to be constituted a board by the center government. These are the two sections, but I will not go in detail. But the power is given by the legislature to the center government to constitute the board for the recommendation of wages of working journalists and other employees of the newspaper sector. And that has constituted, and the recommendation was given by the board to revise the wages of the working journalists and non-working journalists, including all other employees of the newspaper sector. The point is that as a relevant fact, what was the amendment? And that was, it is a case of 1994, and the amendment was the of 1989. And what was the amendment? Basically, if you will see, there are some special provisions relating to this aspect of the legislation, that section 10 of the Act 1955, which says that it is basically of 1955 of this 45, serial number of the 45 of 1955. Section 10 says that the recommendation of the board, and that recommendation will go to the center government, and the board was constituted in 1989 under the chairmanship of the Sri Bachawat Commission or committee. Report is very famous with relate to the recommendation for the wages and other conditions of the working journalists and other employees of the newspaper sector. So therefore, the Bachawat committee has recommended some recommendations to the center government, and these recommendations were given by the Bachawat Committee to the center government under the section 10 of the particular act, that is the act number 45 of the 1955, which is related to the service conditions of the working journalist and miscellaneous provision others for all the other employees of the newspaper sector. Now, what was the recommendation of the Bachawat Committee? That is again the point. And it was the recommendation that all the working journalist employees are entitled to get the wages on the basis of the uniformity. On the basis of the uniformity. Uniformity means if some workers are working in Chennai and some employees are working in the sector of Delhi, and some employees and working journalists are working in Bombay, because Indian Express it is publishing from the various cities. The recommendation was given by the Bachawat Committee that their wages should be uniform, equality should be there, and this was challenged. This was the relevant fact, and this relevant fact has been challenged, and the 1989 amendment as a issue impugnant order of the recommendation of the Bachawat Committee was challenged on the ground of the violation of the Article 14 of the Constitution, Article 19(1) Clause A of the Constitution, and Article 19(1)(a)(g) of the Constitution. And it had challenged by the company before the Supreme Court. And on the basis of this recommendation under Section 10, the center government has issued a notification to implement the recommendation given by the Bachawat Committee as a uniformity of the wages of working journalists and the other employees of the newspaper sector. It has notified for its implementation. Then when the writ petition filed by Indian Express newspaper before the Supreme Court by challenging the amendment of 1989, the question was that the definition of was the newspaper as prescribed under Section 2D, as we have already discussed. Section 2D, it has said that it is in violation of the constitutional provisions, especially of the provision of fundamental right 19(1)(a) and 19(1)(g). G is A, you are very much aware about the A, but the G also you are aware about it, because when we have seen the Bient Coal Mine Company case, there was also the issue relating to this 19(1)(g). And here also the case which is in the question that whether this amendment was in violation of these two articles relating to the discrimination also, that is the Article 14 of the Constitution. And the another aspect has been challenged, that relating to the definition of the newspaper establishment. And newspaper establishment, as you have seen, this is prescribed under the section of that newspaper establishment or employee, that is prescribed under the Section 2D, which says that establishment under the schedule. And the recommendation of the 1989 Bachawat Committee was that if two sectors in the newspaper are working in the separate place, in the same name, under the same ownership, same ownership of the paper, their wages will be the same. Their wages will be the same. One sector is working in the one metropolitan city, another is working in the another that metropolitan city. Therefore, the Bachawat committee said that their wages should be equal. Now, as you have seen, the challenge was there on the basis of discrimination. Although it was not discrimination apparently on the face of the record, if we will see that uniformity is there, how it can be discriminate? And discrimination, Article 14 applies in the same matters. But the petitioner had submitted or argued before the Supreme Court, it is a discrimination. Though the Bachawat committee has recommended that this uniform wages should be there, either it may be working in the Chennai, or it may be working Bombay, it may be working in the Delhi. But the argument and the writ petition of the Indian Express was that it is in violation of 14 also, because there is a discrimination. Apparently, it is a case that there is a uniformity, and a uniformity means equality. And 14 says the equality before law and equal protection of law, equality before law. And the employees who are working in Chennai, who are working in other metropolitan city, are entitled to get the equal wages. But petitioner said that it is in violation of Article 14. Because of the reason, now come to the point that the reason, what was the issue in this case? Issue in this case was, these are the relevant facts, and these are the facts which requires to be applied in this case. And the issue were that it is violation of section 2D and section 2D and the section 10 clause 4 is in violation of the fundamental rights as prescribed under part 3rd of the Constitution, particularly the Article 14, as I have said, 19(1)(a) and 19(1)(g). The question was, as a issue, whether these two sections, section 2D and section 10(4), 2D, just I have narrated 2D, and what is the section 10 clause 4? This is the point. First of all, come on that point. 4 says that the board shall consider the recommendation given by the board to the center government, that will be that shall be published, that shall be implemented by the center government. Center government's duty is to implement the recommendation given by the board. That is the point. Section 10 clause 4, and that has challenged, because the Bachawat committee said that the uniformity should be there, and the center government has notified it, and the petitioner has challenged it is in violation of the Article 14 also, apart from these two clauses of Article 19. That is very interesting case, and one can think over it, how it is in violation of that one. Then we will see the argument, what was the argument of the petitioner before the Supreme Court, and relating to the violation of Article, violation of Article 14 also. Now, backgrounds of the facts. In the settlement or recommendation, the various commissions before the Bachawat committee had formed or constituted by the central government under section 9. That this was the Devitiya committee, Bhandarkar committee, and the Sydney wage board and the Palekar wage board, the various in 1958, 63, and then 75, 76, and 1980, and then finally 1989 as Bachawat committee, various commissions. And the writ petition has filed under Article 32 of the Constitution directly. And you have already seen that some provisions of this act will be applied with consistence of the ID Act 1947, as we have seen. And ID Act says that if there shall be any dispute, it will go where? To the labor court. But the petition directly filed under Article 32 because of the reason why the petitioner has not approached as a plaintiff before the labor court against this system, because labor court have no power to declare any legislation as a unconstitutional. It is not the power of the yes, welcome again because of the internet. Now the case was filed by the petitioner under Article 32 of the Constitution, and the Constitution provides the remedy under this article if any matter or law as prescribed or as defined under Article 13 in violation of any provisions of the fundamental right. Therefore, labor court has no power, and then the recommendation and the notification has not challenged before the labor court, as you have seen the in Bient Coalman Company case. That cannot be challenged here. And the Supreme Court, what were the arguments relating to this matter? The arguments of the petitioner, first of all, the petitioner have the chance to make the argument before the court, either at the time of the admitting the case and at that time when there will be the argument also. The petitioner have the burden of proof to prove the case, and the arguments were there, and these arguments as a contention of the petitioner were that the earlier case court accept the capacity of the newspaper industry. The issue was that uniformity of the wages in all the sectors, and the definition of the newspaper establishment under section 2D is that if the same owner on the same name is publishing the newspaper from the different corner of the country or in different places, it will be considered as a single newspaper. It was the definition as amended according to the recommendation of the wage board and placed under the section 2D. If the owner is the same, even if there are two owners, but the paper is the same and publishing from the two places or in two places it is publishing, then certainly that will be deemed, that not deemed, that shall be considered as a single unit of the newspaper established. It shall be considered. That was challenge. And the first contention of the petitioner before the Supreme Court was that in the year 1961, Supreme Court has decided one case in the issue which has filed by the Indian Express Newspaper Private Limited Company. In that case, the Supreme Court has laid down that the wages shall be paid to the employees of the newspaper sector on the basis of the capacity of the paying capacity of the newspaper. If newspaper have the money, if newspaper have the resources, if newspaper have the sufficient resources, again we will come, 5 minutes are there. Now, if newspaper have the capacity of paying, then certainly that shall be accepted by the center government. Otherwise, it depends on the circumstances of the newspaper, conditions of the newspaper. That is the judgment of the Supreme Court 1961. The first contention in this case of 1994, where it had challenged the government notification, center government notification relating to the uniformity of the wages who are working in the various places in the same newspaper. The court said that capacity. You will surprised to know that you might be thinking that the sir newspaper owner is the same. And one sector is working in the Chennai, another is in Bombay. Therefore, if the uniformity has been settled or recommended by the board and accepted by the central government and accordingly notified, then what's wrong in it? How it can be said that it is in violation of the Article 14 of the Constitution? But the contention of the party, that is the petitioner, Indian Express Newspaper Private Limited, said that no, it is in violation of Article 14 because the income of the Chennai is not the equal income of the Delhi newspaper, which is getting the income, which is earning the money, is not the same as it is the earning of the Delhi sector or Bombay or wherever there is the office and the printing of the paper. You might be seen that in the top there is the provision of the publishing place. That is the publish. It is being published for India, Beyant Coleman Company, Times of India, Friday, and that has been published from the Dehradun. It has published from the Dehradun. It is written here. It is being published in Delhi. It is being published in Bombay. It is being published in other Chennai, in Calcutta, various places. The addition of it is a addition of Dehradun edition. Whenever you will quote in the research paper also or in your assignment, it requires the addition, publishing addition of Dehradun. It means the argument was there that the wages should be decided by the central government according to the income of the particular sector where it is being published. That was number one. Because in 1961, the Supreme Court has laid down the principle that it shall be considered the circumstances and fact at the same time the income of the newspaper. That's why the income where there is a less income and where there is a good income or a better income cannot be said that the employee who are working in another place where there is a very low income at par from the employee who are working in another place where there is a good income or better income. That was the argument. That's why it is in violation of Article 14 of the Constitution, very interestingly. And in your mind, there may be the question that, sir, the income is coming to the employer, and the employer means the owner of the paper is a same person, or the paper is the same. No. The Code 1961 laid down that the income of particular place, who are working, because there is no such system, they are working, and the good news, they are covering all the news from the various portion, and it is a popular paper in that area. Because of the publishing of that paper and news, it may be popular in Chennai, and another paper who is publishing from Dehradun or who is publishing in the Lucknow, that Indian Express is publishing in Lucknow also, that not maybe the popular. And if that paper will not be publicized or will not be popular, will not be the very interesting paper in that area, then automatically the income will be low. And if income will be low, how the wages will be paid to the employee? He has argued. means the petitioner argued before the Supreme Court, and petitioner also argued that it is a gross violation, said that, sorry, it is a gross violation or of the that Article 14, 19(1)(a), 19(1)(g), because they have no income in another sector, then the circumstances should be taken into consideration, and circumstances should be taken as a factor or as a income of the particular paper. That has not been considered by the board as well as the center government. Therefore, the center government and on the basis of the recommendation of the Bachawat committee clapped the income of the paper, same paper, from the both the places. But no, this is in violation of Article 14. That was the contention of the petitioner before the court. The clap of the newspaper as prescribed under the definition 2D, establishment of the newspaper, is against the provision of the constitutional law. That was the argument. Next argument was there, the weaker group of the company is not equal to the stronger group. It is not, because weaker group, as I have said, the low income, it is a weaker group. And it has claimed that if there is single paper published by the same owner, or even if the owner are two, but name of the paper is the same, it means this has been claimed by the recommendation of Bachawat Committee 1989, and later on they notified under section 10 clause 4 of the act to implement it. To set that argument before the court, he has said that no, it is in discrimination, because the equal unit and the weaker unit and the stronger unit cannot be clapped together. That was another argument. Then the next argument was relating to the interpretation of the provision, and that provision was that harmonious construction in between section 2D and section 10(4) of the 1955 act. Harmonious construction should be there, and harmonious construction means that section 10(4) says that the center government have the power to notify it after receiving the recommendation from the committee, and harmonious in the sense that the center government, why it has accepted the whole recommendation of the committee, because the center government have the discretion as things fit, as deems fit. Words are there. It means the modification power with the center government also. And why the center government has not been modified this one, whereas the Supreme Court's principle of 1961 is there that according to the circumstances, condition, income of the newspaper, the wages shall be fixed by the center government. This is the judgment of 1961, and that judgment has not been taken into consideration by the Bachawat Committee, and against that judgment, the recommendation was given on the basis of the uniformity in the wages, and the paper was clapped for the purpose of the definition of the newspaper establishment. That was the argument of the petitioner. Then